opioid.
Man gets old right now. I've taken 3 COVID tests, so.
You got 2 whole seats. Go ahead.
It's usually you.
I know. I'm always asking you too while you're away.
Did you go down today or not? Did you go to the funeral today? I didn't either.
I Facebook they had that farmer's market.
Facebook.
Posted on Facebook the farmer's market was today.
Yeah. You said
Posted pictures of people at the farmer's market, and I could tell the sidewalks were looked like they had fresh.
Your dad.
Huh? You see it?
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, he ain't driving it in the rain.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Hey. We're good. Is yours on?
Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, as we gather this evening, this council asks for your strength, courage, and wisdom. We ask that you bring comfort to the Tingle family with their loss and the Lambert family. And we thank you for this wonderful town that we live in and the privilege that it is to serve it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We're going to call to order the August 15th meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. Gentlemen, if I may, just before we jump into the meeting, this past week, well, I guess it was last week, the town of Mooresville lost one of their employees. Our wastewater treatment plant superintendent, Danny Tingle, passed away after valiantly fighting cancer for, I think, 5 years was his original diagnosis. Dan came to work here in 1978. He was just shy of 45 years of service with the town of Mooresville. He was the epitome of a dedicated employee. Hard-headed, would argue with you at the drop of a hat, would argue for the town of Mooresville even quicker. His family knows that the town of Mooresville respected Dan and appreciated everything that he did. We've extended our offer, our prayers, and our heartfelt compassion for them. I want to thank the Clerk Treasurer's Office for helping his family over the past week. They expressed their gratitude for the help that they had received because it is a confusing time for them. I did ask God to comfort them. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted, and I believe that they will be. Dan is in a better place. That plant has went through, in the past 45 years, at least 4, if not 5, major plant improvements, and Dan was a part of each and every one of them. His legacy is something that will be unequaled at the wastewater treatment plant. His shoes will be hard to fill. The gentlemen that work at the wastewater treatment plant all express their concern and their heartbreak for the loss. But I know that they will go on and continue to make Dan proud of them. We also lost Russ Lambert. We had the privilege, this council had the privilege of dedicating a day to him. 106 years old. Man that fought in World War II, raised his family here in the town of Mooresville, and was proud to call this place home. Mooresville is a better place today because of both of these gentlemen, and their loss will be be felt for a long time. Gentlemen, I need a motion for approval of the minutes as written or an amendment to them.
Make the motion, we approve the previous minutes as written.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Josh Gregg, 5-0. Next item on the agenda is our public hearing for Ordinance 9, 2023. This is a public hearing. This is the ordinance that sets fees and charges for services that are provided by our police department in the form of either public information, reports, crash reports, and other documentation. Is that correct, Carrie? Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak either for or against Ordinance 9, 2023? Gentlemen, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Carried, Josh. 5-0. Gentlemen, now I need a motion to approve Ordinance 9 or vote against or to deny Ordinance 9, 2023.
Make the motion, we approve ordinance 9-2023.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Josh Gregg, 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the Parks Department surplus bid opening. This is the equipment that we replaced with the 3 grasshoppers.
Correct.
In the claims is the bill for the grasshoppers.
Correct.
Hoping that it was maybe a misprint or maybe we changed our mind a little bit, but it showed that there were 3 72-inch.
Yes, 372
Oh,
inch.
okay, I
Yes.
thought we were going to get a 60.
No, sir. 372 inch.
The first bid is from Kyle Vanover. Kyle has submitted a bid for $12,500 for the John Deere 1600, the John Deere 1570, and the Kubota ZD 331. $12,500
Not each, but for all 3, correct?
total.
Total,
Yes.
okay.
The second and final offer is from Reynolds Farm Equipment, and it's a bid on the following surplus equipment: the John Deere 1600, the John Deere 1570, and the Kubota ZD 331 LP, and the total on it is $10,000, and that is for all 3. have a bid for higher than that, or someone that,
Yes, sir. Doing the preliminary numbers and to evaluate assess the value of our current equipment, one of the numbers was at 16,000 as assessed value for sale.
do you believe that the equipment should be sold at that price, or do you think that you had to have a better value of using it out of it, or are you satisfied with that $12,500 mark?
I feel that knowing both of the bids and the individuals that were issuing, the 12,500 is a adequate and suffice purchase amount for the three pieces of equipment.
Other questions for Phil? Comments?
Tom, you know equipment better than us. I mean, what do you think? What's your opinion
Well, it
on?
all depends if you're buying or selling. When you're selling, I still think it's worth the $18,000. But I mean, it is what it is. We can't ask for. We can choose not to sell it if he thinks he can put people on it and continue to mow. But he wouldn't have. I don't think he would have asked for new equipment if he thought it was worth it to keep it and let it mow. One of the, and I say this with a kind and loving heart to our last or two superintendents ago, we did have a tendency to hang on to things a little longer than what maybe we should have. So I really didn't believe that the new equipment was worth what they said it was worth, but it is. So we're going from here. He came up and stated his case that the equipment, it was time to get rid of it. Dane?
I don't have any comments.
Josh? No. Greg? So we motion to...
I hang on to stuff too long, too.
There you go. And I need a motion to accept. I need a motion to accept the highest bid of, that's nice to say, the highest bid of $12,500 from Kyle Vanover.
I make the motion we approve the highest bid of $12,500 from Kyle Vanover.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Josh Shane, 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do we need to get a hold of him, or can he get a hold of him?
He can do it.
Bill,
Yes, sir.
you got to sign that duty and task. I don't know if you need a copy of that, or if you know who that is.
Yes, sir.
Call them and tell them. And then how do we? What does the State Board of Accounts say? Do we want quarters? Do we want cash? Do we want a certified check? What do we want?
I would say a certified check.
Yep. He's prepared to do either. Both companies were ready for certified check. So.
Okay. Lateral transfer pay. Kerry Buckner.
So I think that was approved, the lateral program that Chief Dalton approached the board with, and I have two officers that got hired that are still on probationary pay, and their laterals with academy training. So when I called Diane, I asked, can we just, it makes sense to go ahead and put them on this program. They're still making probationary pay, and she said I would have to bring it before you guys. So.
I don't think we've amended the salary ordinance as of yet. And gentlemen, I don't think we even discussed that. I know the conversation was that we were having trouble getting people here. And I don't know that we considered the ones that we had hired. How far into the program are they? How far?
Well, Officer Capps is in 4 months, 5 months, something like that. And then Officer Russell was hired, I think, in December. So.
You're talking from this point going forward.
Going forward, just to get them off probationary pay. They're both laterals, and it was approved, so they're not, they're laterals. Give them that extra 25 cents. Come on, make them happy.
I think it was 48 cents. I'll have to look again, right? But
I'll throw in some.
I thought when I made the motion, it would be effective that day. we need to amend the salary ordinance or whatever we need to do, but, I mean, if we approved it, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, I
Go into
think,
effect.
I think we hadn't amended it, we just hadn't had it done
Right.
yet, because I thought when you said that, and I agree with you, from that point forward, and I thought you meant from hires from that point forward, didn't give any consideration to hires prior to that, but if that's,
I thought, yeah, well, I took them as, they're laterals, you know.
so let's clarify that again then, laterals that are already in the system from that point forward.
That's how I interpret
Yeah,
it, and I should have
I thought
specified.
laterals are laterals.
That's what I thought.
I mean, they're laterals, they're on probationary pay.
Dave would tell you different on what a lateral is.
Like the one he climbs up on the roof. Probably not.
So Shane, is that the way you interpreted it? Of course, I think you and I voted against it.
I voted against it, not because I was against,
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Josh, is that the
I
way
was
you?
in session, it went the day of that we voted on it too.
To include
Yeah.
anyone that was in the system?
Yeah, that's already in, yeah.
The way I understood it.
I don't know how it was
That's
worded.
we'll still need to change the salary ordinance, so.
Then a motion to change the salary ordinance effective that day.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Still opposed?
I'm not opposed to this action, so
Okay, so you're,
I was opposed to the way it was done last time, so I guess I could vote aye.
aye, okay. So it was the vote on that, and it is effective that day.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you. So that was Jeff, Josh, 4-1.
4-1, you said?
Yes.
5-1, 5-0.
No, I still voted against.
Oh, you did.
Tom used against?
Yeah, I still
Okay.
think a lateral, I still think the probationary period was important. But what do I know? Mark St. John, Hoover Sewer Hook-On and Annexation.
We're in the process, we've already got the house ordered, and we want to hook on to the city. And we're in the county right now. And well, I guess we had to come forward you guys to be able to hook on to the city.
To hook onto the sewer?
Yeah, the sewer.
Dave? I know we spoke about this, and did you find out on permits or?
He has been to the county to request a building permit. They will not issue that building permit until he has permission to hook onto the sewer. So it's a chicken egg kind of scenario.
Can he not put, that house was originally on a septic system, can he not put it back on a septic
We're
system?
not putting it in the same spot, we're putting it in a different location. And it's lower.
And I was told that septic had failed.
No, it hadn't. But the only way to use that we'd have to put a lift pump on to lift it up to that. So it's easier just to hook on to the city. And when they ran the sewer line, we was told that we could hook onto it when we wanted to at a later date and time. In fact, when they ran the other line, when it was Packmore when they ran that other line beside us, we was told there was a hookup in there too, for us to hook on to.
We did visit the property today and found a manhole located on his property. So there is access there. There's a stake that was apparently put there where the stub out for future expansion is supposed to be.
Future expansion. So you think we can put a lateral back into the manhole?
We wouldn't go into the manhole, we'd go into the main pipe.
How deep is that there? How deep is that?
It's
Pretty deep.
12, 15 feet deep.
Okay.
And I brought it up to 4, 5, the lateral. Typical.
But that's gravity there.
It is gravity. Yes.
Is on they're at his property. In the past, gentlemen, we've always, the buffer zone covered us as far as saying, hey, we'll still have the design and oversight and everything like that. We've lost that. Part of the discussion when we lost the buffer zone was the only bargaining chip or tool that we actually had was the services that we provide. We have had requests for sewer hook-on within that subdivision before, and we didn't have the luxury of being right there to where they could run a lateral to it. They were going to have to run a lateral maybe across 3 properties to get to the main. So in the past, what we've said is, hey, if you want to talk to your neighbors, and we'll put a main in there, annex the entire little David Lane, and go from there. Here we have 80% contiguity. We are adjoining to it. We have the opportunity that if he requests annexation, we can go ahead and annex him and then bring the sewer to him. That's what we've discussed as far as the loss of the buffer zone. His neighbor or 3 houses up may come and say, well, you didn't let me hook on. But you can't run a lateral across other people's property by our ordinance, correct?
Correct.
Is it open, the annexation would be a part of this though, correct? That's what you're saying?
That would be entirely up to this board. We can make the.
Then it would make the adjacent properties contiguous at that point.
Right.
So it could start a domino.
Could start a domino effect as long as we can get the investment. If we can get, we have a funding mechanism to be able to put a sewer line in there if they're in the civil town of Mooresville. This one here we have, with the main being on his property, we have the luxury of being able to run right straight to it from his house. The other side of that is the annexation portion of it, and I don't know how quickly we can get that done, would turn the building permit back over to the town of Mooresville instead of to the county. Am I missing something?
No, I mean, what I would anticipate the best way to move forward is kind of do them concurrently and at the same time, so that we go through with the super voluntary annexation on this. You're probably looking at 30 to 45 days before you can get through that process, though, because you have the timing for the hearings and to get that in. We'll need to pull a legal description for it and then run that through the process. And then once you take action on that annexation, you can just move forward with the hookup to the sewer.
Dave, did you see an issue or any problems with that?
No, it's a very small neighborhood, 1 street, houses on each side. I don't see any issue.
And I want to make sure I got the right one. Are we talking about this corner lot right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, the manhole is right there in the corner right there. There's a line that does run all the way down through here. When they pack more in, they put a line in. And there was supposed to be a hookup here and a hookup here when they put that line in. Or when they put the first line in, they put it over here in the corner. Then the second, when they brought this other line down the edge of the property, they put another one right there. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's where.
And so the annexation would only be for that property right now, and then to get that hooked up, and then if others want to voluntarily annex.
Okay, and then with that, can we, if that's here, can we do some type of easement where we can get, if we run a sewer line across down the middle of the road to where we can get back to it or something like that? If he designs it in the meantime, in that 45 days?
Supposed to be an easement running behind Packmore. Comes all the way from the other addition. It runs all the way down through there. We granted when they put the first line in, we let it come across our property. It was supposed to be a one-time thing to put it in. But we've never have said anything if they had to come and do maintenance on it or anything. We've never said anything about it, but
We can cover all that through that. Per our ordinance, and help me out here, it's a, and I always get them backwards, 1,100 hook on and 900 availability.
Correct. Nope.
That's why we keep her around. That and her pleasing personality. So there would be those two fees that are by ordinance, and it is a $1,100 availability and a $900 hook on, so it's $2,000.
I think you told me it was like $2,000.
Yes, there would be a $2,000 fee. So would we need him to written request an annexation?
Yeah, I've got his contact information here, so I can work with him to get the.
Can we take action tonight without that formal documentation? Contingent upon the formal document. As far as the hook on and the annexation running concurrently, one doesn't happen without the other.
So what action are you wanting to take?
Give him some peace of mind on what we're doing.
I think you can make a motion to, that the town council is in favor of providing the ability to hook on to the sanitary sewer system, provided the annexation is completed.
Did you hear that, Shane?
I do have another question. Normally with an annexation, don't you do some kind of financial
You have to have the plan.
study?
So you do have to have the fiscal plan, so we'll have to reach out to Baker Tilly, if that's who you want to use, and they'll just kind of take a look at it. Because we were talking about a single parcel, it's not going to have that big of an impact, but you do need to have the fiscal plan. So that's part of the timing that is built in that 45 days.
Would it be a waste of money to order it since they're looking at it, the whole subdivision, or no? Is that just a waste of money? Or is it saving money while they're looking at it?
No, because the problem is the only annexation that would be in front of you is for this single parcel, and so that fiscal study would not.
Okay.
Accurate.
I was just curious about it.
Gentlemen, are there any questions for Mr. St. John?
Are you both entitled to the property? And you're
Yes.
both fine with the annexation, I assume? Or
Yes.
you would have objected? Okay.
Motion.
So I'll make a motion to move forward with the annexation and the sewer hookup pending the annexation. Is that good enough? Okay.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. St. John, what we did this evening is we said that, yes, you can hook onto it, but the stipulation is you will have to annex into the town of Mooresville. It gives us the opportunity to bring further funds into maintenance and everything like that in the future, and also to hopefully get the entire subdivision, as they choose to annex into the town and add to the sewer system. He has your contact information. He'll be reaching out to you and let you know how we move forward from here.
Okay.
Is that acceptable? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Next item is Bridget Morales.
Hello, council members. I'm Bridget Morales. I'm Community Coordinator of Morgan County Substance Abuse Council, and I'm here for twofold, same kind of reason though. With the Health Department, MCSAC is doing a Narcan training on Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. We're going to be in Mooresville over at Life Point Church at 10 a.m., move on to Monrovia at the library at noon, and then down to Martinsville at the fairgrounds at 2. Our purpose is to show people how to administer Narcan, because it is a life-saving opioid reversal drug, and we wanted people to be used to it and comfortable with it because it is life-saving. My idea came from going to a Family Dollar or Dollar Tree, I can't remember which one, here in town, because I am a resident, and I know that they have high population of public coming in. They have told me that they've had people that they were very close calls, and they were very excited to hear that we do Narcan training even throughout the year. And so I thought we can spread the word that we're doing Narcan training so people feel comfortable with it. Secondhand, so if these flyers are about it, if you guys go to get the big drink at Marathon and want to talk to the people that see the public and offer free training or their staff, I'd appreciate that. I'm calling it your homework. Or if you just want to be aware of it, so you want to share that. The other reason I'm here is because I'm going to ask the Town Council to consider putting up Narcan boxes or naloxone boxes, which sounds funny to me, throughout in community areas. Case in point, Churches of Mission would put one up, but their building's going to go up for sale soon, so they can't do that. The church across from the high school has decided to put up a naloxone box. That just hasn't happened yet. And the purpose is, of course, to make it available to have Narcan, which is a life-saving thing. Usually law enforcement or EMS arrives about 5 to 10 minutes, and so if someone can administer it, the chances their survival of reducing the effects on the brain is a good reversal. So it's not harmful if the person's not under the influence of our opiates. So I just wanted to bring that up, that it is a life-saving thing that we have, and if we consider even putting it maybe in places where we have the other health things, like the, where's the heart attack, what's that called? The heart attack thing.
Defibrillator.
Yes. So we can put it like, maybe we can box it together. But the other thing is people who are maybe have opioids in their house because of medical reason. A lot of times when they get released from the doctor's office, or my daughter just had surgery on her back, she was released with Narcan because she has opioids. Not that she can administer it, but just that people in her house can help administer if they need to. Elderly folks overdose on their medicine sometimes. But yes, we do have people with substance use disorder that probably need their family members to get it. So it's not calling them to get it, but schools, maybe, the overdoses in Avon and our other communities in Hendricks County, just to have somebody else in the family or friends or husband and wives to have it just in case, even accidental, if they're users or not. So that's why I came here to ask. My idea would be, of course, Decatur Township just put Narcan boxes in all their fire stations. Maybe Chief would consider it, the police department. I think he might maybe have some inside, but outside so family members can pull up. There's very few Narcan boxes in Morgan County. I think there's a total of 3. The one across from the administration building in Martinsville by the church, we fill it up constantly. And again, it's not that people are using it, getting it. It's people, family members. We see people in the alley grabbing it. It's usually family members or husband or wives, kids who are caring for their elderly parents that may, oops, take the wrong medicine, or oops, just to have it in the house because there's opioids in the house. So if you have any questions about the training or Narcan boxes, if you have concerns, just let me know. Happy to talk about it.
Who manages these?
Who manages? Health Department has Narcan boxes. We have them through Overdose Lifeline in Indianapolis. So whoever, we are happy to take over. Like, we help the lady that pursued it for the church box. Centerstone has a box and they maintain it as well. So it really could be businesses if they want to do it, but we're happy to, because we get it. Health Department gets it. We can give it, anyone can get it. So over the counter through the, at their pharmacies, but to manage that box, it's really just filling it up. And it's a cool box. I mean, how they've made it, so you just pull it out, it doesn't jam, doesn't get wet.
Is it just fentanyl that's in the box?
Fentanyl reversal drug, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry,
Yes.
that was,
Well, any
I just made a
opioids,
fool
any
of myself.
opioids, but fentanyl, of course, is the concern.
I
So,
had just read fentanyl right here.
right, so it's methylphenidate, all the Oxycontins, those kind of things, that
But
they can overdose.
It's not like a vending machine
No,
like you see on television
no, it's
where
just
it's
a
got
box.
pipes and all this
There
stuff.
is a vending machine, but no, we're not asking for the vending machine.
What's it made out of?
It's just a plastic box. It's, just like, that, where the heart
Put it
things, I
in,
can't think of
you
it.
can open it
Yeah,
up and
just
just
open
get-
it, just, that's it. You twist, pull.
What kind of, I think I've seen this near the church you were talking about in Martinsville.
It's
Just
in the alley
hangs-
by the barbecue place.
Yeah, it just kind of hangs on the wall there. And what liability does this bring to the town?
And that's been brought up a lot. For a person to administer it, so having it there is just having for the public. But the person to administer it, so it'd be protected under Aaron's Law and the, Good Samaritan Law. So it's not a risk to have any public people walk by and take it. It's just having a life-saving thing, like a thing hanging on the wall to keep them safe. So,
Say if kids get into it accidentally, it's not gonna.
right, no, and if they go, hey, I'm going to put it in my nose, if they know to do that, it's not going to hurt them. So if someone is like slurring their speech and you say maybe they're under an influence, no harmful effect. It just affects the receptors in the brain, so that stops the brain from being killed off.
As far as like, if you thought they were overdosing, but they were having a stroke or something,
Yeah, no effect.
it wouldn't affect them?
Won't hurt. Mm-mm.
No allergies or?
No, not very low. I mean, of course, anyone can be allergic. So I just met someone allergic to limes. I'm like, limes? Come on, I was expecting more questions, because I know that there's a lot of stigma. I get it, so.
Well, I mean, this council has joined in with the opioid lawsuits and want to do everything that we can to try to help. But also on the same token, we want to make sure that everything that we do is help. We got two chiefs back there, public service chiefs. Thoughts?
We have it on our trucks, and in our staff vehicles. And usually when 911 calls come in, we get in town within 5 minutes. I don't know a lot about the studies from other agencies and having them done. I don't know what's going on with those communities. I don't know the status of it. Chief, do you have any ideas on that? These boxes are new to us. We just have to start seeing them within the last 6 months to a year. So their studies are still out there and we're still getting a lot of the feedback. So I can't really answer that question good. Other than I know in our time responses we can get anywhere in our town for 5 minutes. So this is not going to call.
If we said we want to put one at your two departments, at your facilities, outside, do you think we're providing a good opportunity for the citizens of Mooresville, or do you think it would be a detriment? Do you think that it's an opportunity that this council should consider. You go first, Carrie.
Well, I mean, if they come to the people, you're talking about the, it's right there in the box where they can open it up like an emergency thing. It's not gonna hurt anything. But to me, I would, if it was me, I would try and get the local businesses on board because the chances of nobody being in the police department when somebody's overdosed is gonna be pretty slim. But if they're at, Cabana or they're at Oregon and there's an overdose, having those there, I think that would be more beneficial than just the police department.
Well, I think I'm understanding this. This is so someone can, they're going shopping. They're going and buying it or getting it for free, taking it home and putting it in their staff vehicle or their car to where they think that that's, that they may have a need for it. And they will have that with him. I don't think they're going to wait until someone overdoses and then run to the police department to get it.
It's like CPR. You want to, even though someone drops, like when I was at the meat market when I was a foster parent, the lady dropped in front of us. I did what I was trained to do as CPR. You called 911. I sat there and checked her and made sure she was okay because I was trained as a CPR person to be right there because I was in a public place and you want to act instantly. Same concept. Yes, you guys are here at small town, but the best practices with Overdose Lifeline is to be able to access it within 10 minutes. And it's hit and miss. And yes, the businesses I do want to hit them, like the laundromats and things like that. They seemed really receptive when I offered the training, especially the one over by Alley's. However, other smaller businesses like gas stations I like to hit. Of course, Casey's has to go through the big administration. So I wanted to say, it was our community to say that we want to keep our people safe. Maybe just have a few around. Like I said, I think all Johnson County fire departments have it, but I know Decatur just reported, like within the last month, that all fire departments would have it. I think it's a great idea to have it in a public place like that, because maybe someone will come and talk and ask for resources. I know you guys can't counsel a family member, but the family member stepping in to try to get Narcan in a life-saving measure, just in case it happens. So there's an opportunity that you guys can refer, or this is where you need to call for help if you feel like you need help or your family member needs help. So, and again, we have those people too that maybe had pain medication from a surgery, and maybe they'll be safer to them to have access to it, and they see it in the wall and they get used to it being there.
Is this not something they can't go to a local pharmacy and ask for?
You can now. It just recently came out, but I think there's still a stigma to ask for it. So having it in public would be the best beneficial. And also, we know, like in marketing, you have it in print everywhere you go. You get aware it's there. Just same thing about schools. They put it in a certain place so you know it's there. And I think there's been legal things about people who hid their life-saving measures in a box note. So if you put it in the public knows it's there. So
Jane asks who maintains it. If that box, you put it up, you nail it to the wall of the police department, and 30 minutes later it's empty. Who fills it back up? Who maintains it? Who has to
it just
check
depends on who's doing it. We would maintain it if a public place like that would need to have it up. Churches, of course, the person that point of contact will find one. Down in Martinsville, a lady that pushed for it, she's the director of Parents Against Addicted Loved Ones. She pushed it through her church and asked for help. Overdose Lifeline is where we get them, and they will come down and help you with how to brackets, how to set it up. It's nice looking. It adds nice. It just blends into the brick at the one in Martinsville. So
Nasal mist, is that right?
nasal mist, yeah.
Is there a cost associated with it?
Nope, free. I like that too. So,
Refilling, it's free. Installing it, well, it's not free. Somebody's paying for it, but it's...
postage to get to my office, but that's about it. Yeah.
Jeff, you probably see this as much or more than anyone. What's your thoughts?
And not that I like scare tactics, but as you know, fentanyl's it could be in a powder form or a liquid form. And there has been cases in Marion County, as we know, we get that kind of their follow through, where it's being injected into vapes. So for a kid to get a vape in the middle school, because I know it happens, it could happen. And that's what we're trying to prevent. It could happen. And in fact, after that thing happened in Hendricks County or the Avon with the kids that overdosed, Of course, the school scrambled of like, who is trained to do this? So we just want it to be accessible as many people.
My thoughts are, I don't have a problem with them being on a government building. If, I would direct her to the department head. If she wants one at the police department, have her go talk to the Chief Buckner. If she wants one at the park, go talk to the park superintendent. If you want one here at Town Hall, we
Well,
can do
like
that.
the library, talk to Diane.
Yeah, talk to Diane, but yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Of anything, I had trouble breaking into the fire departments. I could talk to the chief, but breaking into the fire departments, because I'm not sure how it's situated. Every fire
Well, they would
department.
mount on the outside of the building, right?
You're what? I'm sorry?
Do they mount on the outside of the
Yes,
building?
they do. You can be
Yeah.
inside, like the shelter down, I forgot the shelter
Sure.
down in Martinsville.
But if it's a
has
closed
inside.
facility, you mount them on the outside of the
Right,
building.
to
Yeah,
the
so
public, right.
would that- yeah. Where are you wanting them? I mean,
I
are
was
you
open
here
to
for
it.
a
I really do want the
specific
fire-
location, or where do you want to put them?
Well, when I was talking to Church's Mission, and because they can't post one, I'm like, we're good here. I didn't think about the town hall, but now that they're moving, I'm like, yeah, maybe the town hall. I don't necessarily, my husband suggested Bicentennial Park because we knew people who were homeless there, but I'm like, don't want to direct just to the homeless because they don't necessarily have, overdose, substance use disorder. So library, of course, anyone that's public, I think would be great. Of anything, I think that door over there where you pay your bills would be a perfect spot. And again, that box is clear, so it's not like I'm going to pay my bill here. It's clear what you can see in there, so, and marked clearly.
I'm gonna ask a question. I get beat up all the time for asking questions, but and this isn't meant to be belittling or anything, it's just a question. What would you say to the person who says that doing this kind of thing enables drug addiction or attracts
I say it's
more drug addiction? You know what I'm saying?
having learned about what substance use disorder does to your brain, that you have to have, if you're going to be saying substance use people or enabling them, their brain changes, and that's the whole thing about the drug. It is the disease, and they have to have the drug to live. Their body is telling them they have to have it to live. So with a person with substance use disorder, in addition, I used to work in domestic violence. It's an average of 7 times before a victim actually leaves the abuser. Same thing. A person might overdose, and part of recovery is, whoops, I fell off the wagon, I'm getting back on. So we don't want to say that's enabling. That's part of recovery, is having the oops. So we don't want to lose people because, oops, they had it, and that's part of recovery. So I would say you're safeguarding that they might then go into rehab and then go back to it again. Just because they fall off the wagon doesn't mean that, they didn't learn what to do. It's just their body, and certain stresses trigger that. Their body needs that to survive. So it's understanding what addiction really is. But again, it's mostly for the families to feel safe. You don't want to be watching a family member suffer. If I go into a diabetic shock, my husband knows where my insulin is. If he goes gets stung by the bee, which is highly probable with our backyard, I can find the EpiPen, things like that. It's just that quick. And when I was going around the community, one person did tell me that if they're going to use drugs, they should die. But I'm like, you would not delay saving someone with an EpiPen. So I think it's just understanding what addiction does to a person in their mind. So
How do you advertise where these boxes are? Or you just,
there is a dashboard. Indiana.gov has a dashboard, so you actually could find it. So if I was going to promote it, hey, we have one here at the city hall, they would put it on the dashboard so you could say, where's the nearest Narcan box? It's not something that I think is very usable, because if I'm in crisis and someone overdoses in front of me, I'm like, where's my Narcan? Because I have it in my car. It's just there, so the community is responsible to help their citizens. So
you're here tonight, where do you want to put one?
I'm open to places. I like the fire station, depending, because I know the fire stations, sometimes they don't have a big population coming in and out. When I originally started, I kind of think that door would be great, because the people coming in and dropping off their payments or coming in to talk to the office over there would be great. Of course, I went to the library, but that's not part of the town businesses. So I'm open. I'm not sure. I don't know what other businesses we can kind of hit, but I'm open to suggestions too, like where you think a good flow is.
What was the library's reaction?
I haven't, she really hasn't said anything. Diane has, well, the thing is too, that some of the things that, they can't post certain things on the building, and that's a board agreement, so I think that's where we left it. She's open to it. The Morgan County Library, which is not in Mooresville, but they were open to it too. They just have to go jump through hoops, and we referred them back to Overdose Lifeline, so hopefully we can connect with them. Sometimes putting a box up is very long. The church across the high school has had it for a while, and they just haven't done it because they hit the stigma issue with their board members, and so to try to get past that. But Diane was really, I think her name's Diane, was really gung-ho to do that.
There was something on the side of the building on my way here tonight. I seen it.
Oh, good.
So it might have been it.
The Boy Scouts are on Monday. I've been missing it.
I didn't go see what the box was, but I did
So
see a
maybe-
box on the side of the building.
Right. Again, just trying to have more access, just like with this crisis happened with the kids that overdose. Susan Haynes from the school was, we need more, we need to make sure who's trained and went through that training. By the way, the training only lasts about half hour. It's a video, 15-minute videos from the health department, and then we'll discuss different opioids and fentanyl and how to keep people safe.
There are our buildings. It is up to this board, so.
Council, if I may. Bridget?
Yes.
What do you do with the boxes real quick? Because I know it needs to be temperature controlled. So
Kinda.
when they sit outside in the wintertime, they go bad. So what happens on that?
It doesn't necessarily go bad. In that house, it is kind of,
Weekends?
right, it weakens it, they think. I mean, it does weaken a little bit, so it's better than nothing. That's how they tend to say it, but it is not necessarily controlled. But it's a nice looking box and it has a thick poly, I don't know what you call it. It's thick plastic, so,
I was just thinking.
And
of
it's
the
wrapped,
The
it's
winter
a-
months, that's what I was thinking of when it gets colder.
right. It's wrapped, so, it tends to, Overdose Lifeline puts it in a little baggie with instructions, not that it's hard to put up the nose, so. We checked it for the heat when it was really, really hot, and I walked over there to see it, and it was nice and cool in there. I'm like putting my hand in it. But I don't know, it was next to the brick building, it was pretty cool, so.
Our recommendation to town board or council. Just a recommendation.
I didn't catch him.
His recommendation, we put it at the town court,
Oh, that's a good
The
one.
town court?
So by the parking lot?
centrally located.
On the side of the building.
Parking lot?
Or in front of the building.
That's a good point.
Fire department headquarters.
Can you tell me who to contact to follow up tomorrow?
That'd be him.
Okay. Do I have your number? I sometimes get lost in that voice.
My only concern is, like I said, is maintaining the box and refilling the boxes and, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the thing is, if you're not around, is there a number to contact and who,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because
Even if MCSAC went under with no grant money or something like that, Overdose Lifeline is who feeds us the boxes, and they would take it over, and they're in Indianapolis. In addition, I just found out that and I just met her today, one of their employees that does a lot of the harm reduction, she's a resident here and has been for like 30 years, so I'm going to lean on her just in case. Because it does unfill very quickly. I mean, there's been times I haven't walked across the street in a while in Martinsville, and it's been empty or down to one, and we could hold like 9 Narcans in there, so.
You guys go around and check them frequently.
And we have friends like,
Yeah.
the Parents Addicted Loveland lady, yeah.
Jewel, if there's one of these up, it's empty, and someone comes up and either passes away there or their family can't get one, does that create liability for the town itself?
It wouldn't create, I don't see it creating liability for the town, because one of the things that the town has is contributory negligence, and so if there's any fault upon the individual who's claiming injury, then the town's off the hook, any municipality's off the hook. And so if a situation arose where somebody had ingested drugs, then, and was passing away from that, there would be some negligence on their part, unless they're able to prove that they didn't or somebody else had done it to them. But in that case, that liability shifts over to that person. So I don't see liability attaching for that.
Okay. Motion, gentlemen?
Motion to move forward and let her put a box at the fire department headquarters and work with Chief Dalton.
Been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chief.
Bill, you are up with annexation park department.
Tonight, the park board is seeking the approval to move forward with the actions of annexing 5 properties in the Pioneer Park property acreage. These have just kind of been oversought, and it's just the next step in process to bring everything within the park system into the town incorporated limits.
Questions for Phil? These parcels, if you go down through them, top 2 were on County Line Road, were purchased in 19. The third one was purchased in 94. The fourth one, 2006. And the last one was 2010. I don't think this has ever been really a big issue as far as annexing them in. You said it slipped through the cracks, but at the time, the park department is always delinquent on their property taxes for some reason. There were no benefits as far as property taxing. The park is a township funded entity, so it was still within the township. I think it is crucial to do it at this point in time because any type of zoning or building comes back to the governing body, which would be the county. And we can't afford for Phil to have to go down to the county and get a building permit. So we can do it all in-house by doing the annexation.
After that big plan last
Yeah, there you go. Especially that big plan that he has. we want that building permit for our own.
It also affects the 911 calling, doesn't it? If you have a cell phone and you're in the back of the park. I've heard that it does, but I don't know if that's true. So to the right agency.
I would have to defer to Chief and Dispatch for that.
Do you know is that correct? By definition, no, because we're annexing it in, but yes, it's still Mooresville.
It would depend what tower it hit.
It's in.
Jurisdiction in the geo map that we used to
It wouldn't be. Technically, it wouldn't be. It's in the county.
well, then they'll have to address that, then they'll have to modify it. So I'm saying, basically, the 911, we gave AT&T or whatever our jurisdiction. So anybody with cell phone inside that area, cookie cutter area, goes to us. Everything in the county.
So you may have to make an adjustment.
I don't think that's a big deal.
No, but it could be if you're in the back of the park and you have.
So I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to get it changed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are some of the properties titled to different names?
There are different name titles of majority of our properties. They are not all unified under the same term.
Is that something we should fix at the same time since we're dealing with this, or does it matter?
That really is a decision for the Parks Board of whether or not they want to bring it under there.
Oh, okay.
It would make sense unless they are holding it like in a building corp or something like that for bonding purposes, but I don't think we have to address that. What we would do with these is create the super voluntary annexation petition from the governing body, and then I was thinking about trying to run the parallel with the other one, of course, the St. John's, so that the timing and the advertising is all together.
Yeah, the properties that now list parks in some shape and form.
Right. They're just,
within the
I've
title.
noticed they're different titles.
Correct.
I just don't personally like that. I don't know if there's a legal reason to worry about it or not. In my world, there would be. In private sector, I think there'd be a problem, but maybe not with the municipality. But.
For the purposes of the annexation, I don't see a problem. It'll just be a question for the Parks Board if they want to hold everything under the entity's name or not. So.
Would they just file quick claims from themselves to themselves to change it?
Motion to move forward on the annexations.
That motion.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Shane, Josh. Now, what we're going to do is, like you said, we're going to try to run those together. That way the advertising can all be done at one time in the public hearings.
Good.
I'm assuming you want to be the contact on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, this is the first reading of Ordinance 10, 2023. This is moving the money that was received for the staff vehicle that was sold to Municipal back out of the general fund where it was deposited or had to go back into the fire fund. This is just the first reading. No action will be taken tonight because the public hearing has been set for the first meeting in September. Are there any questions on that ordinance? None? Department head reports. Everybody.
You did.
Good evening. Last week I sent an email to the council about our ladder. Josh, I apologize. It was actually still Dustin Stanley was getting that email. So once they got that vehicle tore apart for that cylinder, if you remember, the original quote was $6,600 to get that fixed. Once they got that tore apart, to get that part out, that part was explained to them that it was only 3 of those parts left in the United States. And now that part is only in a complete cylinder. So the only way to get that part is buying the whole cylinder as assembly, or as assembled. With that being said, that raised the price of that ladder roughly to about $19,000 to get that truck fixed. With that being said, I did ask if that vehicle can be, or if that part can be fabricated or rebuilt. He is not sure. He said he could possibly be built, but he's not for sure on if a company would do it. I did reach out to two different locations. I have not heard back from one. I did hear back from another hydraulic company, which is on the east side. They said that they would not rebuild that part because of liability issues with that. Again, this is above what we or as you guys as council gave the permission to get those vehicles fixed, it's now a lot more than what we anticipated just because of Pierce not making that part anymore for that vehicle, because it is a 30-year-old truck. So with that being said, the one other manufacturer, which is a hydraulic company, they have not gave me an answer yet. They are looking to see if they are even willing to even make the decision if they're going to fabricate it or not, which is Industrial Hydraulics. But I have not gotten an answer out of them yet to see if they're wanting to do that. So as of right now, I don't have any good answers on what to do.
What cylinder is it?
It's an outrigger cylinder that basically holds the truck upright once it goes out.
Problem was with it, or?
I'm not a mechanic. There's something inside that cylinder. It's a hub or a gasket or something. I don't know what it
In
is.
Greenfield, Dan, I was gonna stop over there, but I got called back
Right.
to get a permit I had to get, so I didn't get a chance, but who'd you call on the east side?
Hydraulics components, thank you. That's the east side, and then the west side was industry, yep. So, I know the council decided to fix it, and if we were going to sell it, because we do hold vehicles or equipment that tends to stay a little bit longer, for reasons I don't know. I'm at a loss. I don't know which direction this council wants to go on either taking the liability and possibly getting it rebuilt, if somebody will rebuild it, or if we take it and buy the other three-cylinder, or one of the other three cylinders that's completed, and fix this. So hopefully that's someday to sell at higher cost.
Do we need to wait until you hear back from the people you contacted? Or?
I don't know. I mean, if we wait, they can come back and say, no, we're not going to do anything, and then I'm still going to have to wait for another 2 weeks, unless you guys give me the permission to go ahead and order it, if we get an answer of, no, they're not going to rebuild. I don't know that answer.
You got something in writing from them that said the bill is going to be $19,000.
You want to see the email?
Well, they were going to fix it for $6,600, correct?
Correct.
Now we're adding $12,000 to it, so they're not doing the repairs to it that were figured somewhere in that $6,600, and they're adding $12,000 to it. Math ain't math in there.
That's because it's the price for that cylinder is the 12,000.
Huh?
To buy just that.
But they're not repairing. They're not doing the repairs to the old one.
Correct, because they can't get that part
Right.
to fix it.
But the repairs to the old one was figured into that $6,600, correct?
Correct.
But now they're not doing that part of it.
Correct.
But they're not taking anything off of that $6,600. They're just adding that $6,600 to the $12,000 and coming up with $19,000.
I see what you're saying. So they got labor charges. So I'm assuming that's where that other 19,000 is going to come in.
Still don't add up.
They charge $6,000 to take that cylinder off.
I don't have the original quote in front of me.
Quoted, you said it was $6,600.
100 to take that out, refix that part, and then put it back together.
Is that the only thing they were doing to that truck, just that cylinder?
Correct.
Is this truck in use? Like,
Is a
would it
reserve.
normally be in use?
It's a reserve. If our main ladder goes down, then guys will go into it to operate out of still. So it's a reserve piece of apparatus.
I thought, okay.
So we table it until we get facts and figures straight.
Motion been made.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I have nothing further unless you got any questions or anything.
Table, Jeff, Josh, 5-0.
Good evening. I'd like to say I do not have a surprise 45-minute presentation this evening. So, I do have just a quick updates for the council this evening. Old Town Park restroom has arrived. We are finishing the installation connection for the utilities. That should be completed tomorrow, and with hopes we should be able to open for public use on Thursday this week, just in time for the weekend reservations. The pool heater, I know that has been a long, drawn-out process, but we have received confirmation back from the testing unit in California. The unit has been repaired. It was the gasket coolant unit within the assembly, basically brought into the aspect of improper maintenance and basically use and winterization. The warranty, because of the type of break or malfunction that the unit succeed, there is no the repair cost or the testing of the unit that will be seen. All we will have in the charge for the basic return of the unit is basically the shipment cost from California. That'll be the entire external cost of that unit repair. Looking at that unit being a $60,000 unit, I think that's a win. So we will store that in our climate-controlled office until the spring, where we will bring Button Bomb Moore or adjacent similar company to reinstall that unit and have it operational for next pool season. So I do appreciate the community's patience and also their efforts of dipping their toes in some of the cold water this season. And our hope is to have some warmer water next season. Also, just to bring you up to speed for future updates, the Parks Department is happy to announce that we will be installing a 18-hole disc golf course this coming month, hopefully to have that completed in September. And then working with a local disc golf club to host upwards of 2 tournaments before the end of the season, meaning this year. We're excited for that. That'll be in the wooded area just to the north of the Aquatic Center on the button up against the County Line Road. Other than that, the last time I was up here, I mentioned the IT services draft that our contract is coming due. I do have a proposal draft form that I will be sending to the council and also legal and department heads for further review and consideration for opening at your next meeting or your convenience. Other than that, that is all I have this evening. Love to answer the council's questions at this time.
In the claims is the food and beverage portion of the bathrooms.
Correct.
Do we need to pull that claim until you're sure that this because we got into the same problem with the heater? Oh, well, we paid that before we ever found the problem. Do we need to pull that?
No, sir. This unit, we are just doing the final touching and pressurizing of the lines. Everything for our inspection and connections are proper and have built to spec of what we have ordered and what we have received. So I authorize and approve that we should pay the full amount.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
No reports from the other two. Legal counsel.
Nothing for you tonight.
Public comments. Motion for approval of payment of claims.
Motion to approve the payable vouchers in the amount of $1,306,038.61.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Greg, Josh, 5-0.
Motion to approve payroll clearing in the amount of $247,435.07.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Greg, Josh, 5-0. Town council comments?
I'm none.
Dane?
I don't have any.
Josh?
None.
Greg?
I don't think so.
Before you gentlemen is the award that was given to the town of Mooresville. It was given at the Kendrick Scholar Banquet on June 8th. May 16th, this council voted to continue their participation with Stability First. Stability First had come before the council back in February and asked for a partnership in seeking a grant. The grant did not get approved. This council did go ahead and approve to continue their participation with Stability First. We made that vote on May 16th. On June 6th, we did fund that through our opioid payment that we received from Myers. That is the award on behalf of the entire town of Mooresville and the fine citizens. We know that people need help every now and then, and the partnership with Stability First is a good way to extend that help. The opioid settlement, there's a lot of golden opportunities that we can do and partnerships that we can make, and this was hopefully the beginning of many. Our next council meeting will be Tuesday, September 5th. You guys want to do about 6:30? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Jeff?